If you have a little bit of time, I can pay my duty to Philibert Delorme now, whom I should have presented a few days ago when was his birthday, but only one person showed up. And if still there are a few people here, but even if there is no one here, I will still make this presentation because I need to feel less guilty vis-a-vis Philibert Delorme. Plus, there is something else. I presented two British men, and we need someone from France. Earlier, 1514, 1570, Philibert Delorme, truly a remarkable architect, so very good that François Ier, a great king in France, appreciated him so much and commissioned him. The same François Ier who invited Leonardo da Vinci to be an artist in residence in France. Very, very nice. Philibert Delorme, born in 1514 and died in 1570. So the 8th of January, was a French architect and writer and one of the great masters of French Renaissance architecture. His surname is also written Delorme, Delorme, or Delorme. The pronunciation is the same, but the specificities of the word a little bit different. This was, he became a statue himself. I mean, you know, this is the destiny for the great people of the world, to become statues. What can we do? Philibert Delorme, a few of his constructions. This is an engraving showing Philibert. He was, look at his signature. Isn't it magnificent? Who would sign today like this? It's a small artwork in itself. And it seems he had hesitations. I don't know, I see some, I don't know exactly what it is. I see above Philibert Delorme, but what is below? Mysterious. He was an alchemist. He was a crazy man. He was an exotic intellectual, refined spirit, a man of very fine taste and eccentric you know, escapades into the world of spirit. Drawings. His drawings, he was very, very interested in you know, special stone configurations, and because he was also very good at mathematics, he was able to do such drawings. Look at them. He has books. There are books by Philibert Delorme which should be known by all of us. The abstract art of architecture finds in Philibert Delorme a great you know, soldier, so to speak. You know, I think even if we do not have commissions and we do not have clients, no one can interdict us the great pleasure of innovating by working within geometry and you know, envisioning various forms of doing architecture. It's very possible. And maybe publish a book one day if we are to cut down more trees in order to publish books. Or we can present our work on a Zoom, on the Zoom platform, which became so fashionable these days. He was obviously interested in how things were made or are made. And I think in this sense, he was both an architect and a constructor, a builder. He invented a charpente. You see the principe de la charpente dite à la Philibert Delorme. Du nom de cet architecte arbalétier, courbe composée de deux cours de planche et de taille d'assemblage par Thierry Clavetet. Anyway, I like this fact that a very, very sophisticated intellectual was also a very rigorous structuralist in a way, but his structures are complex. They are not simplistic. And these drawings, you know, show clearly that it was an intellectual pursuit, very pure and poetical, although rigorous and attached to the idea to become concrete. And you will see some of his inventions, so to speak, brought to reality, meaning to being built. Philibert Delorme. I like the drawings. The drawings, I do not understand them at the first sight, but they are almost modern, no? They are inciting for the eye and for the spirit. A very interesting architect. Chateau de Saint-Maur, a very interesting. This was, I think, either demolished. This is a digital reconstruction based on the project or on the drawing. We are talking about the 16th century here. Michelangelo was still alive when Philibert Delorme was alive and working. The tomb of Francois I in the Basilica of Saint-Denis in Paris from 1547. Again, truly a great king. Francois I was a great king, very, very open to culture, and he encouraged important artists, architects. He invited them to his palace. We need such leaders. Today, by the way, I read that Joe Biden, the new president of the United States, was, I quote, an unexceptional student. Like he was the 78th from out of 83 or 85 students in his class. And at other times he was described as a poor student. So I am saying this because, you know, those of us who are not necessarily brilliant students could still make it to become the presidents of, of a certain countries. And so this is, I think, good news. Now, if President Joe Biden, being an unexceptional student, became the president of such an important country as the United States, then, you know, the sky is the limit for all of us. And he's not the only example. After all those grades and so on are truly irrelevant. What about, the great innovators in technology or in being entrepreneurs, from Bill Gates to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs also, and even Bill Gates, they didn't finish their studies, and then they built empires. Not that I advocate building empires, but what I'm saying is between good grades and great achievements is a long distance. Those good grades mean almost nothing. I'm not saying that always this is the case. Sometimes someone with good grades also builds an empire or, I don't know, becomes a president. Yes, other times not. Anyway, I'm very happy that there is a new president now in the United States, and I have a good feeling about him and about the vice president and about, I think, a positive change will occur. Okay. I watched yesterday the inauguration in Washington, and it was impressive. I was at times emotional. Even Lady Gaga participated and sang. That girl, that singer, that woman now has an unbelievable voice. That's the truth. Anyway, I feel good that I launched many years ago the competition, A House for Lady Gaga, and last year, A House for Not Lady Gaga, meaning Lady Gaga in that movie where she played with that handsome man and she was without makeup, because you know by now that I don't like makeup in general. Anyway, enough with Lady Gaga and the new president. We are back to Philibert Delorme, and he has truly a very nice name, Philibert Delorme. I mean, really, this is the name of an architect, not like Dan Coma. My God, no, I don't have the name of an architect, but Philibert Delorme, yes, it does have a distinctive name, which I like very much. So this is at Saint-Denis, and I was with a group of students from the university here, just 10 minutes walking from Saint-Denis, and we never visited it. Shame to us. I knew nothing at that time about the work of Philibert Delorme here. I knew of Saint Denis, but I didn't search for it, and I should have. It was very, very close to where we lived. Anyway, maybe the next time, if the pandemic goes away. Chateau d'Anay, built for Diane de Poitiers, only one wing remains. This is the destiny of architecture, unfortunately. But look, even as a ruin, it's splendid. It's romantic, it's complex, it's eclectic. Look at that proud animal at the top. And it's very, very nice, I think. I mean, I don't know how it was when it was a whole, but as a ruin is I think magnificent. And I mean, this is more than 400 years old, 450 years old. Not bad. Bravo, Philibert. Very nice work. Who cares? It's partly ruined. It's fine. For the spirit is enough. Look here at the top, you know, who do something like this today? And my question is, why not? Why don't we do this any longer? You know, why? I really think our job became so boring, you know, so predictable. We only care about parking lots and all kinds of regulations, and but we lost something of the soul of architecture. Or I am just unacceptably nostalgic. That is possible too. But don't look at this incredible dome. I mean, come on. You know, architecture is inevitably attracted to the task of creating beauty. It has to. And, you know, such complexities, there was no parametry there. There was no computer. This was done with human calculations, with mathematics, with a pencil and a piece of paper, and with labor, the labor of the hands. But look what they created. And even the floor. You know, this floor is in itself an artwork. It has complexity. It has mathematics, geometry. It has maybe, probably even symbolism. I don't know what's going on in the center there, but it's possible there is a story told there of maybe astrology, or I don't know. And look, what is below is above in a way. There is a mirroring between the top part of the building and the bottom part of the building. So the celestial and the terrestrial have a dialogue, as they should. Do we think about this any longer? Very rarely. It's true, this is a sacred space, it's a church probably, but there is a magnificent cupola dome, and it's based on the circle, but we see the contortions of the ellipse, and it's a vortex, dynamic and static at the same time, or stable. I shouldn't use the word static. Very nice work. Bravo, Philibert Delorme. We are happy that you gave us the chance to talk a little bit about you. You deserve more, of course. Maybe next year when your birthday will be. Anyway, for the people who passed away, we have two celebrations, the day of birth and the day when the one we talk about died. Very fine flooring and very fine ceiling. It's complexity here, but not the complexity that Venturi wrote about in Learning from Las Vegas. Because in my opinion, there isn't really so much to learn from Las Vegas. It's a space of you know, unreality. Here, I wouldn't say it is that. Attribution du Château d'Aquigny, it is attributed to him. It's not for sure his, but you know, the experts attributed it to him. It's not perhaps very well kept, but still make some impressive images for the photographer, and no, truly, I admire. My intuition about Philibert Delorme is high. I have high esteem for him. Completion of Saint-Chapelle at Le Château the chateau of the Vincennes from 1552, so 400, almost 470 years ago. Yeah. How different, no? The architectonic spirit. Well, it's true. This is earlier. This is not 19th century like we saw in John Nash and John Soane. This is, you know, with 300 years almost earlier. And it was Renaissance. Here, Philibert Delorme is one of the most famous Renaissance architects in France, if not the most famous. We don't know so much about Renaissance artists and architects in France because we are so seduced by the Italian Renaissance that we forgot that there was Renaissance also in other countries, and not without its accomplishments. By saying this, I'm not trying in any way to diminish the great Italian Renaissance. It's just that Italian Renaissance, French Renaissance also had some very fine accomplishments, not just in architecture, but in other fields of culture and art. And let us not forget again, the Gothic in France is sublime. The Gothic, the French Gothic cathedrals are probably the best. And I'm not referring only to Chartres, but also to Amiens, Rouen, Reims, Beauvais. They are splendid. Chapelle of the Chateau of Viviers, Cotteret. Sorry about this small resolution, but still I hope I'm able to stir up both you and myself to continue to investigate the work of this very important French intellect and architect. We need badly, I think, the return of the architect as a cultural figure, with the dignity of a cultural figure, and to diminish as much as possible the servilities to which we are often obliged to conform in the name of so-called serving the market. No, the architect is supposed to have a dignity that is conferred to him because of the difficult educational process and the difficulty to be both an artist and something else, maybe a scientist, a mathematician, and to know many things. That dignity should not be allowed to be killed, destroyed in the mud of commercialism. No, that's why we need examples like Philibert Delorme and others, and even, yes, John Nash and John Soane. The architect as a cultural figure, that's what we need. Nice works. Even the children seem to be, enamored of this room. Because beauty does, maybe Dostoevsky was right, beauty will save the world. Maybe beauty, did we think of actually, killing the virus with beauty? Not with a vaccine, but with beauty. I know what I'm saying is perhaps totally irrational, but what if we oppose to the pandemic an unbelievable beauty? If we, the humans attacked by the pandemic, respond to it with an incredible idealism and begin to build and imagine a world where the beauty is of great concern to us. Chateau de Meudon, again attributed, sorry, it's just an engraving, but here is not an engraving, but the resolution of the picture is not good, but you still see a great chateau. Another one, Chateau de Monceau. There were, of course, changes in time, damages and so on. This is just a ruin now, but even as a ruin, I don't know, the ruin is some kind of a conjunction, no? A ring of conjunction between the present and what we call the past. And I don't know. I think these ruins are not futile. No, not at all. Um, I actually think they are beautiful. Uh, Maybe Louis Kahn was right when he said a ruin tells you how a thing was done, was built, but it's more than that. That lucrative quality of a ruin. It's about the passage of time. It's about being on the spiral of time, connected with other times, with other places. Ruins and the ruin is the future actually for all of us, including for our buildings. So what we see in the past is the future, our future. Chateau de Thoiry. Now this is a very interesting work, and I will say in a few words why it's very interesting. Apparently it was, I hope I have some text here. You see, Au Château de Thoiry, célébration du solstice d'été. It seems that the summer solstice, and the building was intentionally done so, you have the sun, I forgot, in the morning or in the evening, exactly in the axis of the building. And the sunlight enters through the building. You see here, but I hope I look here. It's a building that apparently was built. I should have had a text, but I will tell you what I read. It was built for someone who had a lot of knowledge about astrological and astronomical matters, and who also had a mystical side. And so the architect responded to this by creating a building which at certain times, in this case the summer solstice, the sun, I forgot, and I should have known. I knew on the 8th of January when I prepared this material, but I forgot. I think it is the sunrise or the sunset. Anyway, either the sunrise or the sunset at the summer solstice. As you can see, the sun rays enter through the building exactly through the door. And this was not just an accident. It happened at other structures, especially in ancient civilizations. But in the Renaissance, as far as I know, and I searched a little bit, this is a unique building. Look at it; it is inflamed by the sunlight. And there are gatherings here, just as there are gatherings at Stonehenge or at certain monuments in Mexico. That there are gatherings of people here who wait for this magical moment when there is this conjunction between the intention of the architect and the movement of the sun on the sky. And this makes you less alone, I would say. It is very, very important to feel less alone, to feel connected. As Vincent Scully, who wrote an article about his friend Louis Kahn, he placed on top of the article the two lines, now in fact two words from a British important writer, Froster: only connect, only connect. So through this building, Philibert Delorme and his client, the man who commissioned him for this building, created this possibility to feel united, even for us, from far away and looking on Zoom at the screen, to feel connected with the sun and with a significant moment on the evolution, the trajectory of the sun on the sky at the summer solstice. You see, le Château de Thoiry represent the 20th June 2000, la fête du solstice. Yes, the celebration of the solstice. Very, very nice. And even the birds seem to enjoy it somehow when they fly above the building. It might be that it is at the sunrise or at the sunset, I still can't decide. But maybe someone who is more calm than me and more lucid can respond to this. Bravo again to Philibert Delorme. Maybe here we have the answer. Le Chateau, the castle is a pivot of the solar calendar. I'm trying to translate it. I hope I have l'axe du coucher du soleil projette. Coucher means to go down. Dans l'espace de triangle de Pythagore, dont les hypoténuses communes sont l'axe du pôle sud, celui de la rotation de la Terre. This connection between the earth and the sky, in this case through the sun, is very, very important. Ainsi, le château, temple solaire, it is a solar temple. This house, this castle, phénomène astronomique par le pouvoir de l'esprit exprimé par la géométrie sacrée. So you understood, it's about an essay on sacred geometry, le nombre d'or, the gold number, the gold section, et les fréquences musicales ordonnent les proportions de l'architecture du monument construit en 1559 par le célèbre architecte Philibert Delorme pour un érudit. So it was built for a man who was very cultured. He had erudition, if there is such a word in English, erudiție in Romanian, so esoterical knowledge on an exceptional site where the solstices were at celebrity for 5,000 years. Anyway, the core Philibert Delorme will end soon. Please be kind and turn off the microphone. He was actually born in Lyon, and this is a work in Lyon. So in the late 15th century, this set of buildings belonged to the Beaulieu family. In the second courtyard, we discover an architectural gem. The gallery on squinches, built by a young Lyonnais architect, later to become the architect royal, Philibert Delorme, on his return from Rome. This open gallery is decorated in the antique style and adorned on the inside with paintings and inscriptions. Two curved turrets on squinches support each corner of the gallery. This Philibert Delorme's Treatise of Architecture, his book, presents this gallery as an architectural feat. Now it looks like, with mold and the passage of time and some dirt. It's okay. It still has the nobility of the spirit, and it moves one with its age. I mean, it's almost 500 years old. It's apparently not something very impressive, but if you look more carefully at it and you allow yourself to feel it, you understand that after all, there were human beings just like us, wandering through these spaces and living there and so on in the work of the young Lyonnais architect Philibert Delorme. Well, what is above, of course, is from a different time, but the bottom, the first 2-3 floors were by him. The bridge upon which the Chateau de Chenonceau is constructed, so he had this major role to build a bridge on which this very important castle, Chenonceau, was constructed. So here it is in all its splendor. He built just the bridge, but I would build such a bridge at any time if such a castle or, a beautiful building would be built upon it. Very nice, Philibert Delorme. Again, I know it sounds crazy, but why can't we oppose the physical and the suffering, the physical suffering, with metaphysical beauty? That's what I suggested in an exuberant and maybe rational way, to try to oppose the virus with culture, with beauty. Sorry, I don't know what happened here. There are a few more images with this work by, so this is a famous chateau by, I don't know who built it, Chenonceau, but now we know that the base was built by Philibert Delorme, and that's not a little thing. portions of the Louvre. He also worked for the Louvre, but it's not very clear. I searched, it wasn't very clear for me what he exactly he did. This is there are portions of the, that's how people work then. The building lasted for many years. Chateau de Saint-Germain-en-Laye, another great chateau, castle. This one French and not like the ones which we saw by John Nash and John Soane, but quite impressive and quite large. I knew nothing about this building until I prepared this material about Philibert Delorme. Portal of Château de Coin, now the National Museum of the French Renaissance, mid-16th century. The wing he designed was destroyed in 1787, but vestiges are displayed inside the chateau. So this was not built by him, but some fragments are to be seen inside. What can we do? The passage of time could be indeed cruel. Roofs of the towers of the Chateau de Bonmar. Here is about the charpente that he became famous for, and apparently it is called Philibert Delorme, with two curved portions of the charpente. I don't know the technical intricacies of this, but what I see, I like. It's the act of construction. I see a French Brunelleschi in a way here, where the structure is not not saying no to beauty, and rigor is not eliminating grace. So I think if structure would be like this today as well, it would be very, very nice. That is sensitive structures. And we are approaching the end. We see an approximate portrait of Philibert Delorme in the lower left corner. Thank you very much, and thank you for the patience.